Hey guys, what's going on? I'm making this video before I make the actual video, so you either see this one first or this one second. I'll be uploading them both today. But I wanted to give a slight update as to what went on with the 44 CPUs that I ordered and unboxed on video and were completely destroyed basically. So what happened was I had messaged the seller back and forth, and I posted a little bit about it on Twitter, but not much. And they said they were willing to let me keep the CPUs at one point, but then all of a sudden they were like, well, we got to make an insurance claim with our shipper. It's a company-run page on Mercari, which is not uncommon, but at the same time, you can't really do that effectively, in my opinion. Anyways, so they were like, okay, we need to make an insurance claim on it. You can keep the CPUs, and then we'll get our money back for the shipping, and you'll get your refund at the same time. So I was like, oh, okay, sweet. I get to keep the CPUs, I get my refund, everybody's happy. So if you don't use Mercari, how it works is when you buy a thing, you have to wait for it to arrive, and then when it arrives, you have 3 days to rate your seller, meaning confirm the purchase, basically. And if you don't do that within 3 days, the seller gets your money regardless. You aren't forced to send it back or anything. You just keep the item and the seller gets your money. So this person wanted to make an insurance claim, and I asked them, okay, how long is that going to take? Because I was already 1 day into my 3-day limit. And they were like, oh, 1 to 2 weeks. And at that point I was like, no, that's not happening. I'm not letting you basically hold my money hostage. This is pretty typical on Mercari sometimes, is where a company or somebody posing as a company, I didn't even look in to see if the company was real, I didn't bother. But they'll pose as a company and they'll send you a product that is most likely damaged or not what you asked for. And they'll say, oh, yeah, I can refund you, but I need to go do this or that, and I'll get the money then. It's basically a scam. So basically they tried to fleece me, and when I said, no, that's not happening, you either give me a refund and let me keep the CPUs, or I send the CPUs back and you don't, and I get my refund. Either or. So at that point they started saying a lot of awful and mean things about me, about saying how I was shady and oh, I knew this was going to happen when you offered that low a price. It's like, duh. Anybody's going to lowball you for 44 CPUs. Especially when you're going $50 or $60 for 44 CPUs. I'm glad I lowballed, by the way, because I will explain why in a minute. So in addition to that, he started doing all that, and I was like, I will send your CPUs back, yada yada yada. During all this, I had opened a case with Mercari as well. So I was waiting on that. I was waiting on that to go through. So then, I wait and wait and wait. Basically, the entire day, I open up another case of Mercari, a return case. I obviously get that. Mercari has really good buyer's insurance, by the way. I should mention that. So I tell them what's going on, and they're like, okay, we're sorry to hear that. Here's your return label. So I pack up the CPUs in the same box. There was 5 working, and this guy was a jerk to me. I'm not going to go through the trouble, as much as I hate abusing hardware, of making sure his product arrives back safely. Sorry, when you treat someone that poorly, don't expect to get your product back in a nice wrapped bow, like a president bow. So I put it back in the original box it came in, because you can't fault me for that. It's the only box I had as well. And I taped it up really annoyingly. I'm allowed to do that. It's safe, but it was a pain to get into. So sent it away. I got my refund, and the guy actually couldn't make the insurance claim because he got the CPUs back. If I had kept the CPUs, he could have done the insurance claim. So his company took a hit because it was a lost product. Couldn't do the insurance claim, at least to my knowledge he can't. He also got reported or I reported him, and his page or whatever got a strike or whatever. Mercari said he was reported. So basically he got in trouble with Mercari as well. I haven't checked to see if his page got taken down. It probably did. So there was that. And I got my refund. Full refund. Which was great. So a couple of the reasons why I decided to send him back, because it was like $32, yeah. But for some people, they could be thinking like, oh, 44 CPUs and you could have fixed a bunch of them for 32 bucks. Yes and no. So here's my issue. I had basically like maybe 5 working after I had examined them much closer, because remember I said the traces on the chips themselves could have been scratched, which meant chips are unusable, and that you can't fix. Capacitors are different. Contacts on the CPU are wildly out of my league. So there was that, the capacitors and all that, as well as I did not get what I purchased. In the picture that he had on that post, and I wish I had kept a picture of it. That post is gone now. There was a couple 1366 CPUs. There was an 1156. There was like an 1155, I believe, an 1150, and it was like I got all 775 CPUs. So I didn't even get what I purchased. So in the end, be careful who you buy stuff from. Don't let people fleece you. This person was a scumbag. I am fully okay with saying that on camera. I'm not going to say their company, I'm not going to say their name, because that just causes more drama that I do not want. And at the end of the day, just be careful what you purchase. So that's what happened with the 44 CPUs. I'm a little gutted because it was really good deal, honestly, at the time. And even though they were all 775 CPUs, like, I would have been fine with a partial refund. I would have been perfectly fine with a partial refund. Because, like, $15 for a bunch of CPUs, even just dead, I could have probably salvaged metals and stuff. I would have had to have learned how to do that, but like, there was a lot of CPUs I didn't have for my collection, and it really sucks because 775 CPUs are becoming more and more rare, honestly. I have a hard time finding them on bid, at least. Like, you can buy them directly, but, like, I prefer to get them in bid. It's usually a lot cheaper. Anyways, that's just the update I wanted to give on the 44 CPUs. Close that out and move on. I'm going to do this video on a simple teardown of this graphics card. Nothing too crazy because of the whole virus crap that's going on. And that's it. So thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you in the video in a couple seconds.